Hey adventurers, today we're going to do a review of my MaverickGear Hammock Tent. We call it a hammock tent because it's not quite a hammock, but it's not really a tent. As I guess a bit of history, I've always used tents. I've always been interested in hammocks, but I don't like the idea of sleeping like a banana. I know you can apparently skew yourself to get a bit of a flatter lay, but I know you're still in a bit of a banana shape, and I tend to roll over a lot at night, so I was always worried about rolling straight out, which I'm sure can happen. So yeah, then I discovered the MaverickGear Hammock Tent, and I don't know why it's not a lot more popular than it is. I've just come up from our camping site onto the side of this cliff to show you how it works, because it's bloody awesome. So it comes in a box. In fact, here's a clip of how it arrives to you when you get one posted.
So I have opened this just to have a look at what was in there, but I have not opened anything yet. So what you get in the box is some instructions and a DVD, homemade DVD, some pegs, bungee cord type things. This is the tarp, I'll assume, and this is the tent.
So yeah, as you can see, it's I've put mine into a bit of a duffel bag and the poles separate. When I carried them on the bike, it's all strapped up on the bike. The poles are the longest part. This tent, by the way, it's not an ultra lightweight tent. I think it is actually only about 1.5 kilos for the tent itself, but then it's about another 1.5 kilos for the poles. So that puts it up around 3 or 3.5 kilos in total. So let's set this baby up. What we have is the tarp. Now what I really love about this, I'll set the tent up first and then put the tarp over, but you can put the tarp up first. So if it's raining, you put your tarp up and then you've got a dry working area, and I'll show you that when I pack it up, will I? It's a bit hard here because you won't be able to see anything. You'll be on the outside of the tarp. I'll show you. So we've got the tarp, we've got the tent itself, and then we've got some straps. Now, although this thing is really easy to set up, sometimes it does take a couple of goes just to get an idea of how far apart these buckles need to be. But basically it'll work anywhere from where your trees are between 3 and 7.5 meters apart. So it's quite a big scale that you've got to work with. So basically your buckle just goes on here and there's an anchor point. I'll do the other one. Of course, people do say, well, what if you haven't got any trees? Or a tree's not big enough. And I can tell you now, I have used this with trees this size, and they don't pull over, although that one is covered in rather large bull ants. I won't pick on them. So yeah, you get your two halves, you get your tent, you hook the steel buckles onto the steel D-rings. I say that because I've got a little aluminium carabiner here which just sort of keeps the ridge line tight, and I once hooked my D-shack up to that and I fell straight to the bloody floor. So there it is. So on your traditional hammock, your tension line sort of comes along and it comes right to the bottom, and that's the bit that you sleep in. But on this tent, it doesn't. It actually comes across the top here, the top of the basket, and that's really the secret, because then you've got this flat base to work with, which you'll see there's a bit of a frame to keep that flat, but it's really nice. So does that look flat? That's pretty close, eh? So now that we've got basically the tent up, we've got this frame. Yeah, so this frame is basically just an aluminium tubed section, telescopic tube section. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you get these, and then you feed them into these pockets here. Now I have been using this tent for about a year, more than a year now, and I've used it in some pretty rough terrain, some bad weather, and it really has been a joy to use. Been completely fault free. I do fear that the sort of fabric's going to wear and that, but I guess that happens with anything, right? So then you've got these two end frames with little plastic right angles on the corners. Feed them through the ends. If you're wondering what that tooting was, if you heard it, the roads are that steep and the corners are that tight here that people toot, you know, before they go around the corner in case there's someone coming the other way. So yeah, there's our base framing. Then what we have is some bamboo poles with these little clips on the end. These are the other thing, I wish they'd give you a couple of spares because these are easy to drop and lose. So we flip the tent upside down. Sit everything in there, and then these click onto the frame just to give you that base tension. Should do it the close side first. So you can see what's happening here. It's holding the two bases apart, giving us like a stretcher. So once we have the last one of those clipped in, flip it back over. Got a couple of little spreader poles here. And they just pop onto the inside here. And effectively, that is your hammock. But, a bit cloudy. Let's set up the tarp. And so, there you go, tent. So to get in these things, it's the same as every other hammock. Take a seat on the side, swivel yourself in. So yeah, then you've got the option of the tarp. You know, I've just tied it. I haven't even used any pegs. I've just gone to all the nearest trees, but obviously you can tie it down to the ground, get a nice low profile over your hammock, and become, you know, completely weatherproof. Well, maybe not completely. Cyclone might knock you around, but yeah, you can get the tarp completely over you, so you're well protected from the weather. You can have it up, so you've got a nice breeze coming under. You don't have to have it if you don't want. The other advantages obviously are that we can set it up anywhere. It doesn't matter what the ground's like, whether it's rocky, sticks, you know, a steep hill like this. This is a really steep hill, and we set it up here. We've got a beautiful view out the top. So yeah, let me show you some of these features. So I mean, obviously my tarp is pretty loose here. I've just hooked it onto some
branches. I've done nothing significant here at all, but you've got quite a bit of adjustment. On the stock ones, you could replace these with whatever length you want. Obviously, they're just to a plastic D-shackle. I guess these is to keep weight down. I guess I'd probably prefer if these were metal as well. I just like metal things, aluminium things. So yeah, once you get down here, you can see we have the ridge line. I just bought some. These were sort of $1 aluminium D shackles, just to, because you never need to take this off. This is basically permanent. You've got your mosquito net, which zips up. Got to zip through the middle. It's going to be difficult with one hand. Hang on. Chin view. Yeah, so this only zips from one side. It would be good if it zipped from both sides, because if you want to get it in and out on the, say, your campfire side or something, then you need to make sure your tent's facing in the right direction. And then at each end, you've got these big pockets, which, I've even sat my motorbike boots in. They fit. Probably not recommended. Your buckles are probably likely to maybe damage the fabric, but yeah, basically, I mean, have a look. That's a nice flat lay, which is obviously a hammock's biggest disadvantage. The ridge line is really only there, just holds the fly net up. That's really all it's doing. Anyway, let's have another hop in there. Now, it's always a little bit scary hopping in the first time. You put a bit of pressure on this zip line. I mean, this is, I don't know how many lines of stitching it's got, but it's held up so far. It's probably pretty good. I think it's guaranteed. You can talk to Mr. MaverickGear about that. But yeah, you put a bit of pressure on that, and then the base gets quite tight. But you can lie your head down, swivel your feet in. I don't normally get in here with boots on, but tell you what, I should do a review of those boots. No, there's lots of reviews on boots. They're awesome boots. Anyway, yeah, that's it. The life. Now, some people have said they'd be a bit worried about the swinging. Mate, I find it relaxing. Takes me back to my pre-0 year old years. Just swinging in the cot. It's beautiful. There, you've got your zips on the inside. You also have this bit of Velcro here, which actually is just seals up that little gap there, so you don't get any bugs coming in. I thought that was a great little feature. Quite easy to open. Check out your view in the morning. Long way down to that ground. You've got pretty easy access. I always keep my torch and stuff at one end, my torch, phone, wallet, just sort of here behind me. That sits up fine. This Velcro is a little bit ordinary. I have had, when I put heavy stuff in here, it do that. But I might put even a little buckle on that or something, just to make that a little more secure. I mean, it's not designed for heavy things, but once you've put a few things in there, a few batteries, torches, whatever, it can put a bit of pressure on there. Now, I'm 6'0", and so if I go till my head is just touching the end, you can see that my boots have a long way to the end, mate. This thing is full size. You could be 6'6" and still fit in this. In fact, 6'6" would be about the limit. Now, I wouldn't go any further. Yeah, so climb out of here and try not to fall down this cliff. Oh, mate, this countryside, magnificent. And there's your tent, just hanging anywhere you want.
Okay, since I'm not selling this thing, I just think it's a really good gig. One thing that I would like to mention is, and it's worried me, hasn't been a problem so far, but this is a string tied, or a strap tied to a tree. Ants. One of the things I was thinking is that, hey, this is off the ground. There's no bugs can get in your tent. In fact, it's really awesome for that. You know, we were joking on our last trip up north about crocodiles and that I'd be safe, but the other guys might get eaten. They're on the ground, I'm not. But ants, I was always thinking, would be able to, ants often you see it climbing up trees, they'll go, hey, what's this? And they'll come along, and I have had that happen. The ants have come to here and they've started sort of walking along the string line or along the tarp, and they just tend to sort of walk off the other end because the zip, they don't come through the zip. And as we said before, this little gap here is sort of sealed up and they haven't come in. I don't know if that could be a problem, but if it is, well, it's the same with all hammock tents, and it's probably the same with tents. It's just that you tend to see more ants on trees. Okay, I'll just sit you back on the tree up here, and I'll just show you quickly packing this thing up. And what's great about, if you do have to pack up in bad weather, so if you're packing up in bad weather, what we're doing is taking out these poles, making sure everything's zipped up. Don't you lose your little doohickeys or your stuffed. Unhook your ends. Slide out your poles. Of course, remember it's pouring with rain. We're still underneath our tarp. Unhook, hold it up off the ground, roll this thing up. We're not even off the ground yet. Haven't touched anything on the ground yet. Pack this up, put it in our waterproof bag, mount it on the bike. Keep your tarp bag out, of course, and put your bike gear on, put your wet weather gear on or whatever, and then you can come out and finish, just roll up the tarp. So tarp done. Do not forget your straps. And then you're done. I mean, environmentally, we've done nothing. If you're an environmentalist, then these are, well, all hammocks are a great option. No damage to the trees, no damage to the ground. Camp anywhere. A couple of people have legitimately raised the question, well, what if there's no trees? What if there's nothing to tie it to? Now, in all of my travels, I'm yet to find a place where there's nothing to tie it to. You can even tie it one end to a four-wheel drive and the other end to a small tree like this. I've pulled up at a roadside truck stop and I've tied it to between two poles on a rotunda. Even in the desert, there is small shrubs and you can tie it to them. But if there is absolutely nothing, you just happen to be on some mesa where there's nothing, well, let's go see what we can do. Well, there you go, no trees in sight, and what do you know, we can still set up this tent. Oh, sorry, don't look at those trees. Yeah, it works. Basically, we have two of the side poles that used to just slide along the side. We put the end ones in and we peg this down, and this just keeps the base pulled apart at either end. And we can stand this up. Maybe that should be a bit more vertical, I don't know. Doesn't really matter. The tent comes with this shock cord and it comes with this washer here. So what you've got is you sit the washer
if I can lift that up. I can't, it's tight. What you've got is this washer that just fits, focus. What you've got is this washer that just fits over the sleeve there, and the D-rings on the tent then will not slide over the whole pole. I'll just sit onto that washer, and then the shock cord that they give you, slides onto there, and you can peg that down. Like, it comes with half a dozen pegs. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 pegs. I think it's got 2 spares, so it actually comes with 10 pegs. Yeah, and that's how you pull the ends up, and the rest is basically unchanged. You can, of course, then put the tarp over and just peg that out. Oh, must come with more pegs. No, I don't think it did. Maybe I've lost a couple of pegs. Yeah, peg the tarp out, and then basically you've got like one of those, yeah, tents that sit on the ground. So yeah, in an emergency, your hammock tent still works as a tent. Yeah, then if we can just get down inside here, and yeah, basically as before. Not quite as comfortable, I'll tell you that. It's nicer when it's swinging in the trees, but basically, you know, it's the same length, obviously. Got our fly mesh up here, and we're good to go. So there you go, the MaverickGear Hammock Tent. Can be used on all occasions.